Time to mount a king awning. I don't unfortunately have brackets, so I'm just going to have to knock a couple up out of flat bar. So first things first, depending on what type you've got, you need to get the end off so that you can measure and work out what the max length of your flat bar can be. And I'm going to want to try and hang this about 50mm off the side just to move the awning a bit further out, although that might be an issue with the weather, so that may get reconsidered. Jesus, why such long bolts? What is holding this? 1 second. Right, that was a bit of a bastard to get off. I didn't realise until I got onto a milk crate the thing had a wee lock tab up the top. Don't undo the bolt completely. Wind it out about 3/8 of an inch if you've got this style of rack. It's got a wee clip on the inside, and of course that was a right bastard to get back in as well after taking the bolt out completely. But yeah, lesson learned. Wind it out 10mm and then push the sucker back in. That allows you to push that tab down. Right. So with that out of the way, yeah, if we make things 100mm, that's going to give us plenty of clearance. And yeah, I've been thinking about it. If I just come out 100, drop straight down, at least when the king's awning is sitting there, it's going to help sort of close up some of that gap. I may end up putting some moulding along there just to close it off completely, make it as weather tight as possible. Right, let's chop some shit up. Now, I'm assuming most of you do, but anyone that doesn't know how to find the inside, the center measurement, rather than trying to do it with a bolt that can move around, measure inside to outside. So 42mm, and that's going to be accurate as. So for anyone that doesn't have a like a sheet metal bender at home, which is going to be 99% of us, I'm going to score this with a grinder just to make it a little bit easier to bend. I'll run a bead afterwards so it hasn't lost any strength, but for me it's the easier way of doing it rather than putting it in a vise and hammering the snot out of it. Now, I'm aware that I don't have gloves and I'm aware there's no guard on the grinder. I do have hearing protection, I do have eye protection. Not too worried about my hands. If I do happen to hit my hands, I'm just going to blunt the blade. Right, I've ended up having to score at about 3.5mm. You'll also notice the radius corners and so forth. Now, a lot of people think it's because engineers like radius corners and they look better and they look like you've done a professional job, but frankly, if you've ever gone fucking head first into a point, you understand why people radius things. We'll chuck it on the deck, make sure it's square, give it a quick tickle up, and just a grind to clean it up, and that's one done. Right, so I've checked everything for square, just going to quickly tack it, double check it for square again. Yeah, close enough for me. Sexy. Not the greatest weld I've ever done, but all in all, it's sitting pretty flat. I don't even think I'll bother fucking grinding it. So everything's center punched and marked. In 25 up, 25 down, 25, and in 15, 25 center, and then I think it was 42mm up to the second hole. Now the reason I've made that angle longer than it needs to be, 80mm, I probably could have got away with 50, anyone that's ever made a bracket before, drilled holes, gone through the trouble of making something and then gone to bolt it up and had a bolt come through here and a bolt come bolt coming in this way, bolt coming through this way, and then the two intersect and bind on each other. Absolutely frustrating. So you're better off just spacing it down further, make sure your bolts are not going to interfere with each other. Bracket making 101. Right, so the brackets are done, all drilled out. Next thing is to fit them, or drill them out, pre-drill them so that we can fit them. I've clearanced it and gone with a 9mm hole, so I've got a little bit of play so I can true them up before I tighten everything up. I'll just time lapse it again, so it'll be a lot easier. So it's going to clear. Oh, not too big. Fuck's sake. I didn't bore you with a video showing me doing bolts up, but this is the exact sort of bolt bind I was talking about. They've only just cleared, but I had to take the top bolt out to get the other two done up, front and back. I may end up moving the brackets so that they're top mounted. I just want to keep it as close to the car as I could to try and keep as much of a wind seal as I could, although it ain't spot on, but it's close. That'll do the job. Lovely.